Hey guys, I'm Philo and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be talking about the guns in Dusk, what's hot, what's not, when you should use them, when you shouldn't, and how to make the most of every situation you encounter in this game. So, one thing that's really important in Dusk, much like Doom, shotguns are the king in this game. Shotgun domination will occur in any multiplayer and the single player as well. I'm going to talk about these guns in a very multiplayer-centered way, but all of this will apply to single player as well, except the numbers. Guns do more damage in single player than they do in multiplayer in general. Okay, so let's start by talking about the standard shotgun here, and these guns are absolutely crucial on every map. You should know where these are, you should be able to get them pretty quickly off every spawn. There are usually two fairly close to each other. Here they are here. And yeah, you can use two shotguns at once. If you press the shotgun key again when you already have shotguns equipped, you will pull out just the one shotgun. So you can swap between the two. I don't know why you would ever swap back to using one shotgun once you had two. Here's a demonstration of the rate of fire. So one shotgun, that's how fast you shoot. Two shotguns, it's noticeably faster. You will chew through ammo more, but you're just going to do more damage with it. So I think definitely the two shotguns are the way to go. As far as damage, if you're about this close to an opponent, if this pillar was an opponent, and you shoot them, that deals about 100 damage. From about this range when we tested, we found it dealt about 20. So the shotgun's, really effective at close range, not very effective at a distance. But again, if you've got this kind of rate of fire and you're hitting all your shots, 20 damage adds up really quickly. But ultimately, the starting shotgun is a really good hit and run weapon. You want to be using the movement, getting in close to your opponent, getting a shot, and then getting away. And this is definitely true in multiplayer as well. In single player as well, rather. You can do a very effective hit and run style approach. Now, with the single shotgun out the way, we can talk about the super shotgun, and this gun is ridiculous because in multiplayer, it will basically one-hit kill anyone if you're this close. I'm fairly sure it will one-hit kill anyone if you hit from this close. The gun is insane. It's very, very important to be able to control this item on the maps. On this map, it's kind of up here in this little nook. So you can hit a lot of shots on people as they go for it. But yeah, again, not the most effective gun at range. It has quite a bit of fall-off and quite a lot of spread, you'll notice. So the super shotgun can be good for spamming out multiple targets at kind of medium range. It has potential to hit several targets at once, but really at close range it is an unstoppable killing machine. Alright, let's talk about the pistols now, and these are kind of the starting gun, the kind of standard gun, I guess. You start with them in multiplayer. I don't think you do in single player. And again, you start with one pistol, you can pick up a second and dual wield, you can swap between them. I don't know why you would ever use one, because the rate of fire on the two is so good. These are really weak guns, it'll take a lot of hits to kill anything, but if you have no other ammo, it can be a good choice. If people are moving in very predictable ways, you can get a lot of good tracing on them. And so one example of that maybe is if your opponent's coming through a doorway, and you can just kind of spam it out with pistols as you move away, you could get some good damage. Or if they're running away from you through doorways and you can chase, kind of hitting them in confined spaces, that's where the pistols really shine. But it's very much a last resort gun. You don't want to be using the pistols in these big open areas. You don't want to walk into a fight where everyone's got guns and health and morale, and just walk in with your dual pistols and expect stuff to happen. It's not going to go well for you. Alright, so next up, let's talk about the assault rifle, and this is a really powerful gun. It doesn't do much damage per hit. I think it takes about 5 or 6 shots to kill an unarmored player, but if you can hit your shots, you will chew through anyone very, very quickly because of the rate of fire. So in a very shotgun-heavy game, a long-range hit-scan gun, a gun that will hit instantly, no matter what the range, has a really, really good place. I often use it on this map to kind of spam out these longer-range angles. I look for people to be walking along the bridge here, and try and, trace them across their head. But yeah, again, doorways and corridors are the assault rifle's friends. Places where you can keep a range from people with pesky shotguns and still just mow them down with the damage. One thing I find too, playing on American servers and stuff with high ping, is that the assault rifle is a really solid choice. The shotguns, because, when you're playing at a ping disadvantage, sometimes someone can have shot you before the server can process that you've shot them back, so sometimes you just kind of die without being able to get a shot off. The assault rifle, combined with some good movement, means you can kind of keep a much greater distance from your opponents, and still, if you've got the aim to back it up, dish out massive damage. Okay, next up in the lineup we have the hunting rifle, and this is probably the main long-range weapon you will be using. This deals 100 damage on a hit in multiplayer. It deals significantly more than that in single player. You can use it to basically one-hit kill a lot of the goons, a lot of the standard goons. This gun is really, really fiddly to aim in multiplayer because people move so fast, so you have to be so precise in kind of snapping onto them. They're very, very narrow, so a great way to use this gun is to look for people coming through doorways. You know, again, like, utilize these doorways, utilize these places where people can't dodge your shots. I also like to look for people kind of walking along here. You know, it tends to be fairly straightforward because it's just horizontal tracking. If they're, you know, moving all around down here, they could be going anywhere, right? You have so much air control, it's so hard to keep a lock on people. But if you can just kind of spam out these doorways and these angles where your shots are easy, you can do well with this gun. Again, I find this very, very effective on high ping against people trying to shotgun me. And that's not just to say, too, by the way, that you have to use this gun at long range to snipe. I think it's a very effective running away gun, and also it can be a good chasing gun. But for example, you know, if you're in this assault rifle room, and you hear someone coming through and they're trying to shotgun you, you can kind of hit a shot and run away, and if they want to chase you, you know, through this doorway, back through this doorway, if they know you're good with the hunting rifle, that's like inviting them to take several hundred damage, right? Because if you can land your shots while you're backing away, while they're trying to chase you down with the shotgun, they're probably going to be moving in very straight lines, they're probably going to be very, very easy to get a lock on with this gun. So again, fairly versatile in when you can pull it out. It shines at long range, but it can be very, very effective at close range as well, if you're kind of backing away from your opponent and making them come towards you with the shotguns. Alright, so now we're on to the crossbow, and this is my favourite gun in the game so far. It is hilarious to use. It deals 200 damage on hit, and unlike the hunting rifle, it's a projectile weapon, so you have to kind of lead your shots quite a lot in order to land them. So it's riskier to use than the hunting rifle at long range, but the reward is greater because it will one-hit kill more people. So the crossbow has a really cool feature where it shoots through walls. So a good place to show this off is down here. I can just wall bang through here, and you see it goes clean through. Another spot I can show that off, I guess. So it will go through as many walls as it wants. This is actually going through and hitting somewhere where the mortar is in here. And yeah, it's so much fun. You can do so much bullshit with this gun. That's kind of spamming this doorway. Right, so from the mortar room, from the assault rifle room on this map, you can get so many weird kills just shooting through the walls, and it's a lot of fun. Here are some clips of me getting wall bang crossbow frags from earlier today. So yeah, the crossbow, not very effective at close range because of this leading. Compared to the shotguns, compared to the hunting rifle, you're usually going to come off worse, but if you can kind of be in a firefight with a hunting rifle, and you're dancing around these corners, you have the advantage where you can actually just shoot through the corners, so you're in cover, and your opponent basically isn't. Apart from the fact that you're firing blind, you're still going to be able to hit them when they can't hit you. So crossbow really is the ultimate counter to someone who's really, really good with their long-range hunting rifle shots. Alright, now onto the main projectile guns. We've got the Mortar. This is like the grenade launcher in Quake. Fairly low rate of fire, very bouncy grenades. I don't think they explode like on touching people. You can direct grenade people and they explode. Frankly, this gun isn't very useful. There's no two ways to say it. In a room like this with the stairs, you can do a lot to spam out the bottom of the room. You'll hit some lucky shots every now and then, but people move so fast, and it's such a shotgun-dominated game that people are going to be trying to get in your face. So if you're trying to spam out a doorway or something, sure, if you hit the grenades, a lot of damage can come out, but if someone just flies around past them and shotguns you in the face, then you're in a lot of trouble. Maybe just spam out a few shots here and there as you move in between, you know, your own shotgunning or hunting rifle or whatever exploits, but definitely don't think of this as a main gun to pick out. And finally, we're on to the Riveter, which is this game's rocket launcher. Now, interestingly enough, this gun has a higher rate of fire than the grenade launcher, so I think this is part of the reason the grenade launcher is so useless to me, is that, you know, anytime I want to use it, the Riveter just seems like a better choice. You know, you can use it to spam out doorways and stop people coming through. It bounces people around, so it can be an effective area denial tool. A good thing to look out for with this gun is kind of getting the first bounce of a fight. So if you spam out a shot and you happen to hit someone as they come through the doorway and they get bounced up in the air, then you have a really easy follow-up shot where you can kind of predict where they're going to land and have a rocket ready right at their feet as they land. So, you know, it's kind of a combo weapon. It's again, not the most useful because of the shotgun dominance. In other Quake games, the fact the rocket launchers are so powerful means that they're the go-to close-range weapon, because that's when rockets are easiest to hit. The fact that people move fast, they can kind of get in your face and they can shotgun you if you miss rockets, means that shotguns become the dominant close-range weapon in this game. Rockets kind of lose their place, but at medium range, these are actually quite fast rockets. They have a very good rate of fire, a very generous rate of fire, so I've definitely gotten a few kills with this gun. I wouldn't consider it a main tier gun, it's more of a utility. You can use it to rocket jump as well, as I talked about in my movement video. Rocket jumps really only work vertically, you can't do like horizontal rocket jumps like in other Quakes. But yeah, the Riveter, it kind of has a place. In single player it's fantastic for groups of enemies. In multiplayer you don't really get people grouping up like you do in the single player. So its kind of main use from the single player is lost. But it can be a really fun weapon to use. I personally enjoy pulling it out in fights, even if it isn't the most effective, just because of my Quake roots. And finally we have the Sickles. This is the main melee weapon. You're going to start with these in every mode, in every game. They deal about 50 damage per hit, so not very much damage, but it can be an effective tool to finish off a frag. If someone, kind of messes up their movement while they're running away, you can catch them and get a hit down. If you can slide into them, sliding is a very effective way to get a melee off. Not a very high DPS weapon. They do have a fairly good rate of fire compared to other melee weapons in Quakes. You can just hold the button down too, so, no pressure to like time them out like Quake 1 axe swings. You can just hold down the mouse button and go. But again, because of the shotgun dominance, because you have to get close, right in someone's face with these guns, you're not going to have much success if you try and use the Sickles as your main weapon. One more thing. On the map Skylabs, just over here, there's a sword that you can pick up, and this kind of becomes your melee. You can still swap back to the Sickles, but the sword, I believe, if you charge it up, is a one-hit kill. It does a lot of damage. It's a really crazy weapon to use, but it's so hard to time out these attacks, because people move so fast, because of the shotgun dominance. I have never seen a sword kill, but if you want to, if you see me in a server and want to show me what that's about, I'm up to getting fragged by the sword. I'm not going to be pulling it out in a hurry, but yeah, sword, it's there. I've heard it one-hit kills, but again, I've never actually seen it pulled off, because the timing is so critical, people move so fast. Alright, one more thing here. I think to really be the master of guns, you need to have the right settings in your config file. So Dusk, by default, and I don't think you can actually turn this off, you use mouse wheel to scroll through guns. This is bad, in my opinion. This has never cut it for me. In fact, I think there's only one actually good Quake player who swaps guns like this. Most people in kind of these action-packed first-person shooters have guns bound to different keys. So I can pull out shotguns, I can pull out the Sickles, I can pull out the pistol, I can pull out the Riveter, I can pull out the Mortar, I can just swap between them at will. If I pick up a Crossbow, I can just swap to that from, I can go Riveter to Crossbow, I can go Riveter to pistols, I can go Crossbow to pistol, it's all very, very quick and easy for me to swap. If you're using the mouse wheel, you are kind of limiting yourself in a sense. The other setting I think is really detrimental is auto switch on weapon pickup. So let's do a situation here. You're getting chased up the stairs, you're running away, someone's got shotguns, you're assault rifling them, you move back, and this is a really good situation to be in with the assault rifle, right? You're kind of shooting them as they're coming up a narrow way, they're going to take a lot of damage, and then you back away onto the shotgun, so you go from having the assault rifle out, and then suddenly you're shooting shotguns, which aren't effective at this range. Auto switch on pickup, it's good if you're new to the game maybe, and you're not used to the concept of swapping guns. And I think it probably makes more sense if you swap guns with the scroll wheel, and weapon swapping in general is more awkward. But if you have good binds set up so that you can just swap to whatever gun you want easily at any time, auto switch really will just start to get in the way, I think. Now, Dusk isn't a super competitive first-person shooter, it isn't like Quake and all that. It is more of just a fun game, so if you want to just keep using the mouse wheel, if you want to just keep swapping to weapons on pickup, that's fine. I know a lot of people are really used to it, I know a lot of people really like it for reasons that seem, kind of alien to me. But I can't tell you how to enjoy this game, so really, these are just some tips. These ones especially, very subjective and absolutely not required to play the game at all. Alright, so that's a few notes on the guns of Dusk World. Hopefully that's a few tips for people who are maybe newer to first-person shooters or arena shooters like this. Fairly standard stuff really, I think. Nothing too exciting in this video, just a quick overview of what the guns are, of what they do. The main thing to take away from this, I think, for most people will be that the crossbow shoots through walls. A lot of people haven't figured that out yet. So you definitely want to be abusing that as often as possible. And yeah, just have a really good time playing this game, because I'm loving it so far. Thanks guys, there will definitely be more Dusk content in the future, and I'll see you next time.